Let's face it, if you're looking at buying a BMW or an Audi, you probably aren't looking at a Hyundai. But should you be? Hyundai certainly thinks so. It's been making reliable, affordable, sensible cars for years, but now it's going all premium with its latest medium-sized SUV. And the result is this, the new Hyundai Tucson. But can it manage to convince us that it's both a premium SUV and sensible family transport? Let's find out if it can have its cake and eat it. But before we do, it would be fantastic if you could take a moment to subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel. Remember to tap the bell icon too, and that way you'll never miss out on our latest videos. It certainly looks striking. I mean, you're not going to mistake it for anything else on the road, are you? Oh, all right, maybe it looks a bit like a Mercedes, but that's not such a bad thing. And the way the dual effect lights sort of disappear into the grille when the car's switched off is a great effect. Down the side, there are all sorts of exciting swoops and creases. And at the back, there are these lights. Now, where have I seen those before? Whether or not you like the styling is a subjective matter, of course, but there's no denying it is distinctive. These bright orange leads means that there is some electric power at work, and that is because every single engine in the range, apart from one, has some sort of hybrid electric assistance. And there is no diesel, because Hyundai reckons you can get the same economy from a petrol hybrid as you can a diesel. There is one side effect of that hybrid tech though, and that is, in the boot, Hyundai says that this will hold 620 litres of stuff. And it will, if it's not the hybrid. If it's the mild hybrid, you lose 43 litres. If it's the plug-in hybrid, you lose over 60. And if it's the self-charging hybrid like this one, you only lose 4 litres, which is about 2 large bottles of Coke, which isn't bad. It's 100 litres bigger than a Volkswagen Tiguan's boot, in fact, and it's also a good shape without too many annoying intrusions from the wheel arches or suspension. It's also got a flat load lip once you raise the adjustable boot floor, which makes sliding heavy things in and out a doddle. Talking of classy touches, a lot of thought has gone into rear passenger comfort. The seats don't go backwards and forwards like they do in a lot of other SUVs. However, they do recline. So that is quite handy if you fancy a nap. They recline quite a lot actually. And if your rear passengers, big or small, are having 40 winks, there is something called sleep mode. And what that does is it cuts all audio and Bluetooth incoming calls from the speakers so they can have a lovely, relaxing nap. And then when they're awake, they're also very well catered for. There are plenty of storage spaces, loads of USB sockets, and on this ultimate spec model, rear climate control buttons. Oh, that was a really good little sleep. I needed that. Now, I'm going to tell you about passenger space. There is plenty of legroom and plenty of headroom, even for taller passengers. It's just the shoulder room is a little bit tight if you've got 3 people sitting side by side. And the Tucson has something really useful because it's got something called safe exit warning, and that warns you if there is a car coming, which is perfect if you're a little bit groggy from all that napping. There's no car coming. Up front is even fancier, and the first thing you notice is these metallic feature lines that start on the centre console, wrap around the front, down the sides and all the way to the rear doors. It's an artsy touch in what is otherwise a very tech-heavy feeling cabin. Just have a look at the 10.25-inch digital driver's display and you'll see what I mean. It's not even trying to look like an old-fashioned instrument cluster. And that's a good thing because it looks smart. It's just a shame it's not more customizable. It's great you can pull up a lot of information, but it's disappointing that you can't rearrange the 2 main dials and there's no full display of the sat-nav. And you might also find the steering wheel design is a little bit fussy. The centre console carries on with the high-tech theme. The 10.25-inch touchscreen is sharp and clear, and it's pretty responsive and lag-free too. The inbuilt sat-nav is standard on even entry-level models. This isn't always the case with many of the Tucson's rivals, but even so, you'll still probably end up using the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto to run apps such as Waze or Google Maps. Hyundai is also very proud to tell us that this is the first car to do away with physical buttons for the heating and ventilation controls. But we're wondering, is that really something to be proud of? They look smart, but they're a bit difficult to use on the move. Still, at least they're not part of the infotainment screen. Overall, the Hyundai's interior feels quite impressive. It's not as good as a BMW or an Audi in terms of build quality, but it's not half bad. Could it be on a par with a Volkswagen Tiguan? What do you think? Comment below. If you look hard, you can find cheap feeling bits of trim here and there, and the leather seats are a little bit too shiny, but it does all feel pretty upmarket. And of course, there are plenty of toys to play with. There are electrically adjustable heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, panoramic roof. I mean, it is just very, very impressive in terms of spec. Okay, this is the top model, but even the basic SE Connect has reversing camera, dual zone climate control, and electrically adjustable lumbar support. Move up to the premium and you get more kit, including a great sounding Krell audio system and wireless phone charging. So it's loaded with equipment and feels well made. But what's it like to drive? The engine lineup is basically variations of a 1.6 litre turbocharged petrol engine. There's the standard non-hybrid, just petrol. Then there's two mild hybrids. Then there's the self-charging hybrid that we're driving today. And then there's the plug-in hybrid. All the Tucson's engines offer reasonable fuel economy, but the non-hybrid is probably the least impressive choice. It's quite slow without an electric motor boost and also uses the most fuel. If you want four-wheel drive, then the 180 horsepower mild hybrid is your only option, while company car users will be tempted by the range-topping plug-in hybrid model. But the sweet spot in the range is this self-charging hybrid version, which has 230 horsepower. It's slightly less than the 265 horsepower of the plug-in hybrid, but it's a little bit lighter, so it's actually a little bit quicker. Drive it gently and you'll get about 50 miles per gallon, although it is worth noting that if you go for the top spec model with its large wheels, such as this one, it is a little bit thirstier than the smaller wheeled models. This hybrid version can move away from a standstill on electric power alone, and it pulls away smartly thanks to the instant torque of that electric motor. And when the petrol engine comes in, it's a smooth and seamless transition. Acceleration feels smooth and brisk all the way up to motorway speeds. You can change gear using these paddles here, although that doesn't really suit the car's character. And the 6-speed automatic gearbox feels a little slow-witted when you drive it in the same way. So it's really best to drive it in a relaxed, calm way and just let the torque from the electric motor waft you along effortlessly. You're going to feel pretty safe out on the road too. Every Tucson has automatic emergency braking as standard that can look out for cars, bikes and pedestrians. There's also lane keep assist. Higher spec models have even more active safety features, including a system that will help steer you back to safety if there's a car in your blind spot and you start to change lane. Plus, if you go for the £1,000 tech pack, you get various clever bits of kit, including a bird's eye view camera, remote park assist, and a blind spot view monitor, which is very useful. This displays a view of your blind spot via video in the driver's display where you're indicating. Clever! The tech pack also brings electronically controlled suspension, which you can switch between eco and sport settings. As well as tightening up the suspension, sport also gives you sharper steering and a snappier response from the accelerator. But just like the steering wheel paddles, sport mode doesn't especially suit the car's chilled out character. Stick to eco mode and the Tucson suspension soaks up most lumps and bumps, even if it does jar over the occasional rough surface. For such a tall car, it doesn't lean too much in the corners, and no matter what setting you're in, the steering is light and therefore easy to negotiate your way around traffic and through car parks. If you pick up some pace, it feels a little disconnected, which can be slightly disconcerting. overall, the Tucson feels like a very well thought through car. Okay, it's not the most fun to drive, but if you do buy one, you'll find it very easy to live with. And what it lacks in badge appeal, it makes up for in clever tech, which is designed to keep you both safe and entertained. So what do you think of the new Hyundai Tucson? Would you choose one over a Volkswagen, Volvo or Audi? Let us know in the comments. And if you're considering buying a used example, head to CarGurus.co.uk to find lots of great deals from top-rated dealers, including plenty of approved used examples. Plus, as ever, please do like this video and subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel.